Go ahead.
Hey, I had a question. You mentioned with your talk with Tim Gordon, I think his name was. You said that you don't believe in generic monotheism, I think is the term you used. Kind of a dumb question, but if Muslims worship, like if you ask a Muslim what is God, and they say, well, God is the eternal creator of the material and immaterial universe, and a Christian says the same thing, isn't that like quote unquote generic monotheism, I guess?
No, the argument is that generic monotheism doesn't get you anywhere, and it's not the same referent, because for us, an essential quality to identifying who that is that Jesus is the creator. So there's an immediate disqualifier right there.
So do you think, like, when you use the term generic monotheism,
there's no such thing as it. It's a fiction. It's an arbitrary.
You're saying
is there anything like a generic human being that just has arms and legs?
No.
Okay, between.
Yeah, so can we talk about like Sally Struthers? I don't know why that came to my mind. And be referring one person's just like, well, I refer to her because I'm thinking about a person that has arms and legs.
Right. Yeah. Right. I understand the analogy. So I guess what you're saying is, it's either you're worshiping Jesus Christ, the one true God, or you're worshiping nothing.
What I said at the beginning was, no, you're worshiping an idol, and all idols and all heresies cancel out. They don't get you anywhere, and that's the whole point. Is that, let's say I have all of the, in other words, Trinity and Christ being the second person of the Godhead, they're not accidental attributes. They're essential to identifying who the referent and the deity is. There's no such thing as a core attribute like one simple creator, and then Trinity and Jesus are not core. That's the problem.
Yes.
Okay.
Because the Arians, when the Arians said we worship God too, but the Son is not fully divine, the patristic consensus is, good job, you've lost God. You're idolaters now.
Yeah. And what they're doing is, and this is the distinction I was trying to bring up with Trent and Christopher, is that you're now just talking at a linguistic level of like, and it's a kind of second order, what Tarski would call meta language. You're talking about your concepts, but that doesn't mean that that concept actually refers to any real entity in the world. So generically, it kind of like, we know what you're talking about, but it doesn't attach to anything specifically. And so why Jay said it's idolatry is because, and I believe Father Demetrius Stanley talks about this too. I put it in one of my papers as a quote, that they become phantasms, and I think he was specifically speaking about the Roman Catholics, that they become mental constructs in one's mind and phantasms that don't have a referent, and you end up worshiping your idea of God in this generic sense rather than the true God himself. And that's exactly the definition of idolatry. Anything that you worship and put above the actual true God. So if you put your concept of God above the true God, you're an idolater. That's Jay's point.
So by worship, and sorry to just wrap it up, so by worshiping what they call God, but is actually not, Jesus Christ and not the Trinitarian God, I guess what you're saying with like creating a phantasm is they've just invented almost like a fiction, like just a fictional.
Yes. Hence did you hear my Bill Cosby example earlier?
I missed it.
So basically I just said that, let's say that there's there's a generic consensus that Americans believe Bill Cosby, we're going to just say for the sake of arguments, 1978, Americans believe that Bill Cosby is the funniest comedian out there. He's America's best comic. And a team of crafty marketers and scammers come up with this idea of a backstory, and they take pictures of Bill Cosby and they create character that's very similar, almost identical to Bill Cosby, but he has got a few different attributes or a few different qualities. They put a hat on him, and they say he's Charlie Cosby, Bill Cosby's funnier, genius cousin, who's the real brains behind the operation and the real comedian. And they sell out stadiums, everybody waiting to be knocked on their butts laughing by Charlie Cosby. Well, it turns out
Charlie Cosby doesn't exist.
Exactly. Turns out that everybody was duped and that it was a kind of a con, because when they show up, there is no Charlie Cosby. And even though there was all these pictures and it looked like, sure as hell looked like Bill Cosby's cousin, they had almost the same. It turns out they were just pictures of Bill Cosby, and the demons, as you can see, are the marketers. That's the better analogy than the Clark Kent Superman analogy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And that's why the church fathers teach that when you deny the Son, you lose the Father.